are back tonight. I have my boy. All right, I hope you all are having a wonderful day. We're gonna be doing Ace Attorney tonight, so yeah, I think we're gonna do the whole first trial. So y'all got us for tonight. Hope you all enjoy. Thank you for watching, and yeah, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Appreciate it. I always hit my mic.
Why you put Xbox in the thumbnail?
Yeah, I should tell you to do that.
Ah, well, you're too late.
No!
You're too late.
I forgot.
Too late.
We put it on afterwards.
You want to edge work in the thumbnail, but it's too late. We already started the stream, so let's go. Hold on. Okay, so we have Ace Attorney Dual Destinies, episode 5. Is that you?
No.
Turnabout for tomorrow, trial day 1. Y'all ready? Ready, Plum?
Absolutely not.
I tried to do some adjustments to the mics. How's it sounding? I don't know.
That's what she's saying.
I should have just left it how it was. Hey, Game Queen 81. I guess I have to mute it every time you say something. But anyway, let's go. Huh? That's all right. Some burping in mic.
Alright, let's go. Let's start the case.
Thank you, Game Queen 81. December 20th, 3:11 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Oh, it's Pearls. I did a little research. I looked into those special psych locks you mentioned, Mr. Nick.
You did? That's great. I really appreciate it.
Uh-oh, hold on, y'all.
Well, she done did.
Hold on.
Oh, it is. Okay. Oh no.
A red psych lock protects a secret a person is consciously trying to hide. If the person falls under questioning, the lock breaks and the truth comes out.
Yup, that's exactly how I got the truth out of Detective Fulbright and Director Cosmos.
But a black psych lock protects a secret from the deepest place in that person's heart. A secret that the person isn't. Hold on. Get this mic away from me. A secret that. Hold on. A person that. They got 2 bets in there. That's what's throwing me off.
What's wrong?
A secret that.
Oh! That's a spell. That's like a grammar error.
There's some type of error. A secret that person isn't even consciously aware of.
So even they don't know it's there?
Athena isn't trying to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, part of her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself.
Okay, so all I have to do is break the psych locks.
According to my research, a black psych lock is like a heavy chain wrapped directly around one's heart. If they are ripped off by force, it could cause permanent damage to a person's soul.
In other words, if I'm not careful, I could traumatize Athena for good. Pearls, could you stay by Athena's side? She must be suffering under the weight of such a heavy burden.
What's up, Yee? What's going on?
Why you say that would?
I'm right, but will you be all right by yourself, Mr. Nick?
I'm up against Edgeworth. I have to be able to give this trial all of my focus and strength.
And you can't do that if I'm there. I'll just hold you back.
No, that's not it. I just meant I can relax and concentrate if I knew you were with Athena. You're the only one who can do it, Pearls.
All right, I'll do it then. Good luck, Mr. Nick.
Good. Now that my mind is at ease, I'd better get ready.
He should have wanted Mia there with him.
You gonna cheat?
Mia would have helped him out.
You gonna cheat it? I'll just tie up the evidence and take out what I don't need.
Didn't you do that the other day?
It's time to end this nightmare that started 7 years ago.
December 20th. District Court, courtroom number 4.
This will be good.
What you say, Plum?
Cutscene time.
Okay, cutscene.
Defense, prosecution, and judge. There are even people in the gallery. The roof has been completely blown off, and the walls have collapsed. Today, this ruin is my battleground. All right. Not yet, I guess. I thought the cutscene was gonna play like just right there. Never mind.
Court is now. Court or some facsimile.
What is that? What is that? Facsimile? I think that's what that means. Facsimile.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. I forget how you pronounce it. Facsimile, whatever.
That's right.
Game Queen 81 know how to pronounce it. It's now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes. This aura. Not a facsimile.
Oh my god.
How you pronounce it then?
Facsimile.
Facsimile. Wait. Anyway, not a facsimile. Not a facsimile, old man. This is a proper official trial. Take this more seriously, or you'll start hearing the bones of the hostages snap. Let me turn out the game.
Please try not to upset Miss Blackwell. I'm begging you.
Court is now in session for the very serious and very proper trial of Athena Sykes. Facsimile.
Facsimile. Okay, facsimile.
This is no trial. It's nothing more than a ridiculous farce.
Thank you, Game Queen 81. What did you say?
Edward, did you not hear what I just said to his honor? However, this ridiculous farce has a very important meaning for our legal system. Recall the case of the Euro 1 incident, in which a prosecutor was found guilty of murder. That case ushered in the odious dark age of the law.
I see what you're after. If we can find the real truth behind the case today.
Precisely. The darkness will be dispelled, and glory shall be restored to the court system.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, you sound as if you know something of this truth.
I do indeed. A new suspect has emerged in the UR1 case. For 7 years, Simon Blackwell has refused to speak in order to cover for someone else. Brace yourself, Phoenix. Here it comes. I'm sorry, right, but the situation is what it is, and I must do what I must. The prosecution moves to indict Athena Sykes on the count of murder in the 1st degree.
Uh-oh.
Here's the cutscene.
Regardless the circumstance, I intend to question the defendant with all I have. For that is a part of my creed.
Then you'd better bring it.
If the two of you are ready. Court is now in session for the trial of Athena Sykes.
Your Honor, the defense was born ready.
The prosecution is also ready.
It's so goofy. There's immense tension between us. It's like we're picking up right where we left off. It's my duty to clear Prosecutor Blackwell of false accusations and end this insanity. But I have no intention of losing Miss Sykes either. She's a very promising young lawyer. I know without a doubt that Athena is innocent. But I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell did it either. So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage? At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy. The true culprit is a spy. It's going to be hard to convince anyone of that when I barely believe it myself. But I don't have a choice if I want to save Athena and Blackwell and expose the spy.
Now then, Chief Prosecutor Edgeworth?
No need for the Chief Prosecutor pitch, Your Honor. I am here as a simple prosecutor.
Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Although I've been known of late to give an impressive open statement myself.
In all the trials I have ever seen, only the prosecution gives an opening statement.
Oh, of course. You're right. I was just joking. Just having a little fun.
So he wasn't doing them just out of fear? Interesting. Let's start with a brief overview of the UR1 incident. The incident occurred at the Cosmos Space Center 7 years ago on October 7th. The victim, psychologist Meta Sykes, was killed in the robotics lab on the 4th floor. Athena's mother. Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor at the time, was found guilty of the crime. There were two deciding factors that led to his guilty verdict. One, Blackwell was the only one in the corridor to the lab at the time of the murder. And two, this photo, which captured the moment of the crime.
Very incriminating evidence indeed. It would appear that the only conclusion is that Prosecutor Blackwell did indeed. Are you kidding me? I'm not accepting any conclusion of the kind. This opening statement is over. Now hurry up and call the witness. Excuse me, Miss Blackwell? But we must follow proper procedure for these things, you know?
Or perhaps we should heed her wishes, Your Honor. She is the trial's sponsor, after all. Besides, the courtroom is chilly, and sitting for too long can't be good for your back.
Oh, you are very kind to show such concern for the welfare of the elderly.
As skilled as ever at playing the court puppeteer, I see. The prosecution calls its first witness. A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 young... A witness who decided to bring forth new testimony after 7 long years. New testimony? And just who is this witness anyway?
Your boy.
Your boy, Bobby Fulbright's the name, and just as we trust. What are you doing here? I'm just here to speak for the hostage taker, Miss Aura Blackwell. She says she's too busy, what with the confining and threatening the hostages and all. That doesn't seem to stop her from constantly chiming in through Kalanko.
I'm nothing more than an observer in this. Do your best. I'm watching you.
Believing her brother innocent, Miss Blackwell has been conducting her own investigation. And though her current actions are hardly lawful, I think we can at least hear her theory. I have here Miss Blackwell's notes on the investigation she conducted. And I'll be giving a testimony based on these notes. Here I go!
This testimony over Blackwell's theory.
Simon isn't the murderer. He was trying to cover for someone. Someone else was at the scene at the time. They say Simon committed the murder. I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case? Because he was using it to hide someone inside. That's why. And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was a thick socks. And that's Miss Blackwell's theory. It totally goes in the face of the official ruling, huh? About the case she mentions, there were other rolling cases like that one in the lab. But they're not for traveling, they're apparently for moving parts and equipment. I vaguely remember seeing 3 cases all different sizes. At the last trial, they thought that Prosecutor Blackwell used the case to steal the rock. And they had a perfectly good reason to think that too. You see, there's a security camera in the corridor that leads to the robotics lab. And that camera captured footage of Blackwell leaving the scene with the case. I can see why that footage helped to bring his trial to a quick end. It's very convincing, that's for sure.
7-year-old video updated in the court record. Video showing the corridor to the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime.
That case, by the way, was later discovered outside on the Space Center grounds. Speaking of after the incident, where's the defendant Athena Sykes found? She was found on the 5th floor of the Space Center in the Sykes family residence. Prosecutor Blackwell most likely brought her there after the incident. In addition, it's unknown where Miss Sykes was at the estimated time of death. Miss Sykes was too confused by the shock of her mother's death to give proper testimony. And there was no witnesses or evidence to tell us where she might have been. So what you're saying is, Miss Sykes didn't have an alibi? That is what the evidence is saying, yes.
I understand the reasoning behind the theory, but I'm far from convinced. The victim is the accused mother. Are you actually claiming an 11-year-old girl?
Of course the girl had a very strong motive. Dr. Sykes was a psychologist who wrote many papers about speech and emotions. You're aware of Athena Sykes' special ability, aren't you, Your Honor?
Are you referring to that therapy thing? Yes, she's done it quite a few times in court.
The ability to read emotions from speech and the subject of her mother's research.
Well, as long as it benefits society, I don't see any particular problem researching it.
I don't like where this is heading. Not one bit. Dr. Sykes was so intense on her research that she forced her daughter to undergo experiments.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you seriously suggesting?
I've done my best to be delicate, but even you can't deny it to be true, Mr. Wright. No longer able to withstand the anguish of the experiments. Miss Sykes felt her only choice was to kill her own mother.
Order, order! In the court. What a tragic story. I hardly want to believe it myself. But we must proceed. Mr. Wright, if you could. Detective Fulbright, please refer to the notes. Cross-examination over Blackwell's theory. Simon isn't the murderer he was trying to cover for someone.
Hold it!
So Prosecutor Blackwell willingly accepted a death sentence to protect someone else? Yes, that is precisely what Miss Blackwell appears to believe. And that's just what I believe as well. Prosecutor Blackwell is no murderer, Mr. Wright.
They blamed, what was the girl name for killing her sister? I mean, the prosecutor.
I don't remember what you're talking about. Which case was this?
when they had the guy on the armor.
What's your armor?
Anyway,
I forgot what you took about.
anyway, with the lady prosecutor.
Francisca?
No. Anyway, let's go.
But Athena Sykes certainly didn't kill anyone either, Mr. Edgeworth. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expected no. What did you? Oh God, that one, Lana.
Yeah.
Okay, she wasn't a prosecutor, was she? Was she a detective?
I don't know. I thought she was a prosecutor anyway.
Okay. So it appears neither of us can afford to go easy on the other. Fine. I expected no less.
Ooh, I remember this tense atmosphere. It's so invigorating.
I'm only reading notes here, but yeah, I feel extra invigorated too. So let's keep going.
Someone else was at the scene at the time. They say Simon committed the murder.
Hold it!
But that's just speculation.
Objection!
No, Miss Blackwell has proper grounds for her claims.
Objection!
Then why didn't you say so in the first place?
Objection!
You're the one who screamed, "Hold it," and cut me off. Fine, so maybe I jumped the gun by a teeny weeny bit. Ha 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 ha! Now I know what they meant when they said close enough to argue. Moving on.
I mean, if he really was out to steal that moon rock, then why the rolling case?
Hold it!
This rolling case. I suppose you mean the one that existed in the photo with Prosecutor Blackwell in it.
What is that right there in the
That's right.
It's like on the table right there, right under his arm. Like,
That can't be relevant. What is that, huh?
really?
Was absent when the crime scene photos were taken. Yes, that's the one. And Miss Blackwell has drawn a conclusion from these two photos. She has? And where's that conclusion? You're the one with her notes! Oh, right, of course. Reading it now. So why the rolling case?
Because he was using it to hide someone inside. That's why.
Hold it!
And how you propose he hid a person inside one of those cases? Have you forgotten that we just saw just the thing the only does we Have you forgotten that we saw just such a thing only the other day? At your own daughter's magic show, she fit a grown person into a small box. Oh yeah! Way to ruin the memory of a good day.
A magic show? I wish you would have thought to invite me.
Actually, I would have liked to go too! My apologies. I'll invite you both next time, I promise. So, wait a minute. What were we talking about again? Prosecutor Blackwell was using the case to hide someone!
And the only person small enough to fit inside that case was Athena Sykes.
Hold it!
But that's nothing more than conjecture, and it's hardly the only possibility. In that case, what do you think Prosecutor Blackwell had in that case? I think it was the moon rock.
Objection!
There were 3 cases at the scene, but Prosecutor Blackwell used the largest one. The moonwalk was egg-shaped and only about 8 inches in diameter. It wouldn't have made any sense to use the largest case just to move that rock.
Objection!
Be that as it may, it doesn't prove Miss Sykes was inside. Let me ask you this. Can you come up with a better theory of what was in the case?
Well, Mr. Wright, can you?
Yikes! Give a guy some time to think. Let's see. Should I try to bluff my way through what could have been in that case? Bluff Master.
He's always bluffing.
Bluff Master. I know exactly what Prosecutor Blackwell carried from the scene. I just have to find something else that was missing, right? No sweat.
Oh, I'd be very interested in hearing your theory, if it's true, that is.
This is a crime scene photo.
This is the crime scene photo taken after Prosecutor Blackwell left, correct? All we have to do is compare this with this photo of Prosecutor Blackwell to see what's missing. If he took something with him, then it should be in one of these photos. Lady Luck, don't fail me now.
All right then, Mr. Wright, let us hear your theory. What did Prosecutor Blackwell take from the scene of the murder?
It's over. She don't know.
What was in that other scene?
Go to the court record. Yeah,
that one.
What's missing? You was
Hold on.
interested in something earlier.
I know I was. I'm just wondering. I'm trying to figure out how is this scene the same scene as that?
Go back.
It don't look like the same scene.
It do. I think it's from like a different
It's a
camera
thing,
angle or
different angle. Well, that thing right there is missing. This here.
Take that!
Please notice that there's a robot part on the top of the coin in this photo. However, in this photo taken after the crime, the robot part is gone. In other words, this part is something that was taken from the scene of the crime.
You do appear to be right. I don't see it in the second picture. I won't say photo.
What is just a piece of junk? How important could it be? Is it really just an insignificant robot part? Speaking of which...
What are you looking at? I'm gonna start charging for each glance per eyeball.
Stingy. What happened to the age of free previews? Your Honor, about this robot part. Doesn't it look like it could be an arm for the robot from that robot there?
Well, now that you mention it, it does, doesn't it? But the case is still too big to be practical for just the moon rock and a robot arm.
Was it really just one arm that was in there? If it wasn't Athena in the case, maybe. I believe there was another robot at the scene that looks just like this one here. Your Honor, it is the defense's assertion that it was the other robot that was in the case.
What?
Objection!
We can't be certain that the part belonged to a robot. Yes, it looks like the arm of one before us, but it could be something else entirely.
But you can't be certain that Athena was in there either.
Besides, it's wrapped entirely in bandaging, making it difficult to verify what it is.
Objection!
I know for a fact that it's a robot arm. I can even tell which robot it belonged to just by looking at it. With this information, we can investigate whether it was there at the time or not.
But Mr. Wright, I thought you were more over the technological, illiterate type. When did you become such an expert? I feel somehow abandoned.
Not to worry, Your Honor. I still know next to nothing about machines. But I know this piece of evidence proves which robot the arm belonged to. My attorney's back. Trust me. Trust me. Remember what Athena told us yesterday?
What'd she tell us?
She couldn't distinguish between robots and humans. And then, she wrapped them up in bandages. Now, where's the photo where a robot is in it?
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. This, hold on. Where that photo with all of them in it?
It's in the Hat One exhibit.
Oh, okay. I see the arm.
You see?
Take that!
The robot in this picture is named Ponko. But take a look at Ponko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that.
She must have thought that machines heal in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild.
The robot arm at the scene had the same bandaging wrapped around it. In other words, this robot arm could belong to none other than Ponko.
Order in the court. Order, I say, Prosecutor Edgeworth. What do you say? What do you have to say to this?
I concede that the robot arm is about the same size as a child. But it cannot grab its knees and curl itself up into a ball. Even if it were the largest of the cases, the robot couldn't have possibly fit in there.
The case does come up. The case does come up to about mid-thigh on Prosecutor Blackwell. I see your point. The robot is much taller than that.
They've got me there. So then, the prosecutor Blackwell make Ponko fan into the case by... He compacted her like a sandwich.
Probably compacted her or dismantled.
Dismantle. Of course Ponko would fit. All Prosecutor Blackwell had to do was dismantle her. Once taken apart, the robot could have easily fit inside that rolling case. It appears to be a robot assembly device.
Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the dismantle button. This sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick? It sounds rather violent, but Mr. Wright does have a point here.
Objection!
Except that there was a body on the table where robots are dismantled and assembled. There would have been no room to take the robot apart.
Objection!
But what if it wasn't done on the table? What if the katana was used instead?
You mean the sword?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Blackwell, I'd like your opinion as a woman of science. Isn't it true that the katana could have been used to take the robot apart?
I suppose so. Their joints weren't made of a very tough material. A blade could slice through them.
Thank you for your expert opinion, Miss Blackwell. Thanks to you, we now know.
I was reading in the court, in the judge's voice.
That the existence of the severed arm in this photo proves that Ponko was taken apart. In addition, since the rest of Ponko was not found at the scene, we can conclude that the true meaning of this photo is very different from the original interpretation.
You can't mean...
That's exactly what I mean. This photo does not capture the moment of the murder. It is instead a picture of the moment after the robot was sliced apart. The blood you see where the arm was cut off was transferred there by that bloody katana. Most likely the rest of Ponko is scattered around Prosecutor Blackwell's feet.
Not hearing this.
Therefore, what was transported inside that case was not the defendant, but a robot! Miss Sykes never was at the scene of the time of the murder!
Ah, my head. Ah. Order in the court. It's true that Ponko was found in pieces after the murder, and I'll admit I repaired her myself afterwards. Photo of the crime updated in the court record. The photo shows Blackwell taking the robot apart. There's a blood stain on the end of the robot's arm.
Yes! I'm finally making some progress! Hopefully I've gotten at least one step closer to proving both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell innocent.
Objection!
Well played, Mr. Wright. You've made your point abundantly clear. I concede that it wasn't the defendant inside the rolling case, but the robot. Alright, what's going on here? It's never good when you play things this straight.
Does the prosecution withdraw its claim that the defendant was carried from the scene?
No, Your Honor. My claim hasn't changed.
Objection!
But Ponko and Miss Sykes couldn't have both been inside that case.
Objection!
The notion that the case was used to carry Miss Sykes was Miss Blackwell's theory. I have been of a different opinion from the outset. Now I finally have the opportunity to voice my theory.
But you got Edward.
Thanks to the defense. Ashworth, he's been one step ahead of me this whole time.
In that case, how do you propose the defendant left the crime scene?
Simple. The footage only shows Prosecutor Blackwell from behind. What's more, he's holding his arm in front of his body as if he were holding something or someone. That's hardly evidence. I have proof. The shirt coat Prosecutor Blackwell was wearing. The victim's blood was found on the front of it, and the stain had a highly distinctive shape.
A bloodstain? With a distinctive shape? Please continue, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
7 years ago, the defendant was known to constantly wear a certain item, of which there is only one in the world, a special pair of headphones made just for her.
She always wore those big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research.
Analysis showed that the blood stain to be in the exact same shape as these headphones. In other words, this was no mere blood splatter. The blood went from the victim's body to the headphones and then was imprinted onto Prosecutor Blackwell's coat like a stamp.
Most gruesome stamp indeed.
Blackwell carried Miss Sykes, who had been hit by splatter, away from the crime scene. This proves that Athena Sykes was without question present at the crime scene. And that concludes the prosecution's argument. Yeah!
Got Phoenix. Order: if the defendant was indeed at the scene, it deepens the suspicion against her.
Objection!
But we've also shown that the robot was there at the scene as well.
Objection!
I hope you're not making the ridiculous claim that a simple robot was the real murderer. I don't really think that, no, but you can't say the possibility isn't there. Detective Fulbright, was the robot questioned at the time? No, I don't see any record of it. I believe it was considered unrelated to the case. But as it turned out, the robot was actually integrally related. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Parko to the stand.
Like that pigeon or that parrot. A robot witness? Order, order in the court. Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think about this?
Mr. Royce has called all manner of witnesses to the stand over the years. So why not a robot? Nothing surprises me anymore with them.
Very well. I will allow the witness, bailiff. Please summon the robot named Punko. What'd you say?
Witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is not witness. My name is Punko.
Yes, I realize that. But when you are at the witness stand, you are the witness.
No, I'm not Punko. Say it with me, Punko.
What an utterly inflexible little robot! You're the last person who should be calling anyone inflexible.
Haha, you remind me of my grandchild who just learned his own name. Oh, how precious.
I mean, grandchildren you got.
All right, Punko. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I bit my tongue.
Questions? You have questions? Ray, what are your questions?
I want to know if you were there at the scene of the murder of Miss Sykes. It was 7 years ago on the 7th of October around 2 p.m. in the robotics lab.
Certainly. Just one moment. Searching data. Search complete. Yes, I was there in the robotics lab.
It would seem this robot's testimony is necessary to this case after all. This is great! I just knew Ponko must have seen something important.
A murder committed right before this poor little girl's eyes? It's inexcusable.
The judge seems to ready to adopt Ponko as another grandchild.
So, little Punko, do you think you can give us your testimony today? Witness testimony. What I saw. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mummy Ventus. And then Mummy Ventus fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything. After I charged up, I was cleaning the room and Mr. Simon came in. And then an error occurred. There is no data after that point. Pluminator got me talking like that, y'all. Well, it sounds like the defendant was without question at the scene. However, it doesn't appear that the witness saw the actual moment of the murder.
I disagree. This testimony shows that the defendant did indeed commit the crime. What? At the end of the day, we mustn't forget that this witness is still a machine. Being a robot, its understanding and capacity to express itself are limited.
So what are you suggesting?
The witness's statements need to be interpreted. For example, the terms hugged and then later fell down. Adults don't usually fall down after being hugged by a child.
They don't, but...
Yes, what this witness's statements are telling us is that the defendant stopped the victim with the murder weapon during this moment. What?
Uh-oh.
Before Miss Sykes hugged Dr. Sykes, did the two of them converse?
Yes, they did. They spoke to each other very loudly, but I don't know what they said. Athena is usually so quiet, so I was surprised.
Spoke very loudly. We can interpret this to mean they argued.
I see. Murder after a heated argument, and then the victim fell down. I agree that it does sound like a reasonable interpretation. However, Punko doesn't seem to remember anything that happened after that. When I was recharging, I go into sleep mode, but I remember everything before that. I have a very good memory.
You may as well admit defeat now, right? A cross-examination would be useless. Don't be ridiculous! A cross-examination is never useless! Until now. Think about it. Robots don't fib. This robot is both an important witness and valuable evidence at the same time. Nevertheless, I will have my cross-examination. I see you haven't changed. You never were one to worry about wasting time.
Very well, even if it may be a waste of time, you may proceed, Mr. Wright.
I'll show you both just how fruitful any cross-examination can be. Even
What I saw. Witness testimony. I went to the robotics lab at 2 p.m. for my regular recharge.
Hold it!
your regular recharge? What is that exactly?
I have to refill my battery power or else I stop working. I go to the lab to do that.
So that recharge occurred around 2 p.m., around the time of the murder?
That's right. I go every day at 2 p.m. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mummy Metis.
Hold
hugged her, huh? Which actually took to mean stabbed her with a weapon. You said the two of them were talking before Miss Sykes hugged her mother. Is that right?
Yes, they were talking very loudly, but I couldn't tell what they were saying.
Couldn't tell? Even though they were speaking so loudly?
I'm only allowed to listen to voices that are directed at me. No.
If it listened to every voice, it would be little better than a mobile eavesdropper.
Like Siri and what's the other one? Alexa.
Well, that explains why some of Punko's testimony is so vague. It's a shame that our little friend wasn't listening in, however. He could have learned what they were talking about just before Dr. Sykes was killed. Now then, what happened after that?
And then Mommy Mantis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
Hold it!
I don't want to delve too deeply here, but... Could you tell us how the victim appeared to enact it at this moment?
Mommy Mantis was very surprised when she was hugged. I heard her heart pound.
Her heart? Mr. Art, have you forgotten about this document we found in the robotics lab? These robots have a heartbeat detection system. Now that you mention it, I do remember reading something like that there. They detect the presence of people by the sound of their heartbeats. Wait a minute. That means... if Dr. Sykes really did die at this moment... Punko, how was Dr. Sykes after she fell down? Could you still hear the sound of her heartbeat?
Let's see, the moment she fell, her heart was pounding. After that, I don't know. I started recharging just then.
Sorry, unlucky timing. If you had heard anything after that, it could have possibly proved that the hug wasn't actually the moment of the murder.
I am very sorry. I'm afraid I don't know. I'm very sorry.
The robot is designed to go into sleep mode automatically, so it can't be helped. But it does appear it detected an increased heart rate at the moment of the stabbing. Ugh.
After Mommy Mantis' heart started pounding in surprise, she fell by the window. It was the round window on the workbench side of the room.
The workbench, huh? Punko must be talking about that table to the right of where the giant robot is now. Is there something critical in Punko's statement just now? Nope. No shit.
It probably is.
Yeah. Your Honor, I believe the statement is critical. I'd like it added to her testimony.
Very well. Punko, could you please add that statement to your testimony? That's a good little girl. Mommy Mantis fell down near the round window on the workbench side of the room.
Hold it!
Let's see. There are 2 round windows in the robotics lab. Which one did you mean?
The one on the right near the hanging scroll. The hanging scroll was Mommy Mantis' prized possession.
Okay. In the pictures of the crime scene from 7 years ago, there's definitely a hanging scroll and a Japanese theater mask hanging on the workbench side wall. Is there some problem with this statement? Alright, nope, don't even press it. Go back.
Go back where?
To the other statement.
This?
Check the evidence.
You want to go there?
I mean, the body not there.
I
I guess.
What about it?
The
The body isn't there.
That's
That's my reason, at least. She said it was near the window.
Mm-hmm. What, you want me to present this?
Yeah.
Objection!
Punko, your statement may have just inspired a breakthrough.
I was helpful. Hooray! I am so happy.
Just to be sure, let's go over it. Just to be sure, let's go over it again, okay? The victim fell near the window on the workbench side of the room. However, her body was discovered on the operating table.
But the operating table and the workbench are two different locations.
Exactly, Your Honor. We've just learned a new crucial fact. What could explain the two very different locations of the body? I'll tell you what.
The
Athena moved her body.
Really?
Yup.
But the victim
Wait.
moved.
Yeah, you're right.
Who moved it though? Like,
sure.
She probably went over there herself.
Yeah.
After getting stabbed?
Hey, Punko said she was still, her heart was still beating.
Yeah, okay. Let's go. An 11-year-old girl couldn't have moved the heavy body of an adult. So the only explanation is that the victim walked to the operating table herself. In other words, what Punko observed near the workbench couldn't possibly have been the moment of the murder.
Ooh, I am very relieved to hear that. Glad to know that that murder wasn't committed in front of little Punko here.
Yes, as we just heard in the testimony, Miss Sykes hugged her mother, nothing more.
Objection!
Right. It's been 8 years, but you're still just as green as ever.
Green? But I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in the, hold on, but I can't recall ever seeing Mr. Wright in anything but that blue suit.
Hey, blue's my favorite color. What can I say? If the defendant couldn't move the body herself, she could have had it moved for her. Moved for her? But Miss Sykes and Dr. Sykes were the only ones there. I agree, since this robot is equipped with a heartbeat detection system. It would have been aware of another person's presence if someone else had been there. We can therefore conclude that the defendant and the victim were the only ones present.
Then who do you suggest moved the body?
Don't you know it's in the nature of a robot to help people do things? Miss Panko, allow me to ask you a question.
My name is Punko. Say it with me, Punko.
I believe you said you were cleaning after Dr. Sykes fell down. Did you happen to move something large onto the operating table?
Yes, I did. Athena asked me to.
Athena asked you to.
And what did you move, little Punko? I don't know unless something has an ID tag. I can't tell what it is. An ID tag, you say? Yes, a tag with a barcode on it. We robots scan them to tell us what a thing is.
A paper in the lab did mention something about that. Recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, it said. So it will appear that Miss Pinko here can't identify what it moved.
My name is Paco.
But we humans have the power to imagine what it was, do we not?
We do?
Well, I do at the very least. Miss Pinko, on the defendant's command, moved the body onto the operating table. God! Paco, did you really move Dr. Sykes' body? This is really important. Isn't there any way you could tell?
I don't know. Without an ID tag, I can't tell.
Give it up, Rod. If the victim's heart was stopped, the robot's detection system would be useless. Furthermore, Dr. Sykes usually wore her white coat while she was working. She kept the jacket with her ID tag on it draped over a chair in the robotics lab. And only wore it for special occasions. In other words, the victim wasn't wearing her ID tag at the time. From the robot's point of view, her body was simply just another object.
Objection!
But Parker was equipped with a facial recognition system. If she really did move the victim, she would have recognized the body as Dr. Sykes. But she didn't, so that means...
Objection!
A face could easily be covered with a piece of cloth, a mask, or anything else for that matter. With her facial features hidden, the robot wouldn't be able to tell it was Dr. Sykes. He's right. To summarize, Miss Sykes stabbed her own mother near the workbench, then using the robot. She moved the body to the table, where she removed the sword and was stained in blood.
Punko. Order? But if that's the case, then I have a question. Why did the defendant move the body to the operating table in the first place?
You want a reason? Very well. What? You can't possibly have an explanation. Your emotions blind you to the truth. You could learn a lot from our robot friends. Calm and rational thoughts will open your eyes to the fruit in front of you, Mr. Wright. Now then, do you remember the operating table's one special feature?
I believe I read that robots can be assembled and disassembled there. Isn't that right?
That's right. And to the defendant, who was just a child at the time. The table was like a magic box that could make robots appear or disappear in seconds.
But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever get hurt. It looked just like magic to me, what she could do.
You can't possibly be suggesting... This young sheltered girl had a difficult time distinguishing robots from people. But take a look at Punko's arm. It was Miss Sykes who bandaged it up like that.
She must have thought that machines healed in the same way that people do. What an adorable, naive mistake. It reminds me of my own grandchild.
No way. I refuse to believe it. Miss Sykes made a childish, naive, and cruel mistake. He thought that if a robot could be dismantled and vanish without a trace.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, if you're about to claim what I think you are, I demand that you word it as delicately as you can.
With all due respect, Your Honor, all I can do is present the truth as it stands. the reason the defendant moved the victim's body to the operating table.
Hold it!
No! Don't say another word! Just stop! Was to dismantle the evidence so that she could get away with her crime! That can't be!